Hello everyone and welcome to another Task 1 IELTS Academic Writing. And today we're going to work on table. Well, a lot of IELTS candidates have difficulty and they're struggling with writing a very, let's say, well-organized report on tables. And today we're going to work on a sample Band 9 report on tables. And the table I prepared today is a bit challenging because there are a lot of let's say data and numbers. So that would be a little bit challenging for you to analyze and come up with a very well organized and well structured, let's say, report. So first of all, let's take a look at our table here. So as you can see, there are a lot of numbers here and also dates. So we're going to deal with some issues here and some challenges. First, let's read the question. The table below shows motor vehicle offences in England and Wales between 1994 and 2004. So, first of all, we should know that it is from 1994 and 2004. It's a duration of time. So we are going to deal with, let's say, increase or decrease in the number. And there are also some types of offences here. There are three types of offenses here: dangerous, careless, or drunken driving, accident offenses, speed limit offenses, unauthorized taking or theft of a motor vehicle, license, insurance, and record keeping offenses, and neglect of traffic signs and directions. All right, so first let's take a look at the numbers here. Let's start with the highest number. All right, the beginning, bear in mind, this is very important. We are not going to talk about 1995 up to 2003, all right? We are not going into details. We just talk about the most, the least, the beginning, the end. So 1994 is very important, and also 2004, all right? So let's just keep this here. Now, in 1994, which one is the highest? As you can see, license, insurance, and record-keeping offenses were the highest. And after that, the second one is speed limit offenses, all right? Then after that, it's neglect of traffic signs and directions. And another thing which is very important here is speed limit offenses, that it rises during this 10-year period, all right? So it surges during this period. The least in all years, as you can see, is accident offenses and unauthorized taking or theft. So if we want to write about this, the two details paragraph, so you know the first paragraph is introduction, the second paragraph is overview, and the paragraph 3 and 4, the two paragraphs, are detail paragraphs. So in my first detailed paragraph, I'm going to write about the most important, let's say, numbers here. And in the second detailed paragraph, I'm going to write about dangerous, careless driving, and also accident offenses, all right, and unauthorized taking, all right? So these are the least important, let's say, offenses in England and Wales. And for my first detailed paragraph, I'm going to write about speed limit, license, insurance, and record keeping, and also neglect of traffic signs, because they are the most important. And in my overview paragraph, I'm going to talk about the two main types of, let's say, offenses in England from 1994 and 2004. And those are speed limit, all right, and license offenses. So that's it. That's the basic structure of my report today. So first of all, let's start with writing introduction. So as you know, introduction is about the question itself. So we paraphrase the question. We restate the question using some synonym words, right? Let's read the question before writing our introduction. The table below shows motor vehicle offences in England and Wales between 1994 and 2004. So instead of show, we can write presents. The table presents an overall view of various motor vehicle offenses. So I write various, I add the word various here. In England and Wales from, so instead of saying between 1994 and 2004, we can simply write from 1994 to 2004. That's it. No more thing, all right? Now, we should write about our overview, or let's say the most striking feature of this table. The thing which is important here, we should write about two, let's say, main types of motor vehicle offenses: speed limit and license offenses. And speed limit needs particular attention because it increases during this past 10 years, all right? This is very important. The data, as you can see, is always increasing. So it deserves attention. So let's just start writing our overview paragraph. To summarize, speed limit offenses and license offenses were two main types of motor vehicle offenses in England and Wales during the period 1994 to 2004. And speed limit offenses deserved particular attention because it surged exponentially. So this is a nice word here. So when we talk about exponentially, it means it's very rapidly and increasingly fast, right? Exponentially. That's it. This is my overview paragraph. I've just talked about the most important feature of this table, the two main types, and also speed limit, which deserves particular attention. Now let's just start writing our first detailed paragraph. And here I'm going to start with license, insurance, and record-keeping offenses because in 1994 it was the most type of offense. And because I write about this, so I should also write about 2004. What happened to this number? It rose to 957,000 in 2004, all right? And I can also write about some fluctuations during this 10-year period. This is my first sentence. So as you can see, I start with 1994, and I write about the most common type. And because I write about this, so I should also write the end in 2004. And there are some fluctuations here during this 10-year period. So let's just start writing my first sentence. In 1994, license, insurance, and record-keeping offenses were the most common type of offenses and rose to 957,000 in 2004, now here after comma I write about fluctuations after a 10-year period of fluctuations. That's it. So I wrote about license, insurance. Now next one, after that, it's speed limit offenses. So I write about speed limit in which in 1994 it was ranked second, but by 2004 it became the main type of let's say offense by 2004. And there is also something very important here, and that is the number 2076, which is almost 3 times the figure 10 years earlier. So this is very important to mention that by 2004, it almost, let's say, tripled. All right? This is very important. So let's just start writing my second sentence here. Speed limit offenses initially ranked second in 1994, but became the main type of offenses by 2004 because I'm going to add more information here so I do not end my sentence here. I simply put comma, recording a 10-year high at 76,000, more than 3 times the figure 10 years earlier. So you see, again, I write the exact number in the end by 2004, all right? And also, I write about being ranked second in 1994, and I also write about the change, which almost tripled or 3 times bigger than the figure 10 years earlier. And the next one is neglect of traffic signs, right? It comes third. And we can sometimes, writing about the numbers in a table, we can write the average. So as you can see here, for neglect of traffic signs, the average is around 250. If we just talk about the 10-year period and we come to an average, it's around 250. So we can write about this, all right? Neglect of traffic signs and directions came third, comma, because I'm going to continue my sentence, I put comma, averaging at around 250,000 per year. That's a perfect sentence here. No more data, not going into details, writing about each year, simply the first, the beginning, and the end, which is 2004. That's it. Now, it's time to start writing my, let's say, second detail paragraph. So I start with dangerous, careless, or drunken driving, because it is the fourth main type of offenses in England and Wales, right? And as you can see, from 1994, the number dropped, all right, to 177, but in 2004, it reached 231, and this 231 is the highest point in all this 10-year period. So I can include this important detail here, which is the highest point, all right? So dangerous, careless, or drunken driving was the fourth main type of offenses. Again, comma, dropping in much of the period, This is very important. I'm not saying in all period, because in 1996, in 1997, there was an increase, all right? So dropping in much of the period 1994 to 2004, but finally here means 2004, hitting an all-time high. When you want to talk about a specific data, during a period of time that reaches the highest point, you can write hitting an all-time high at 231,000. That's it. Now, the two remaining offenses here. Another two types of offenses, accident offenses and unauthorized taking or theft of motor vehicle, were the least common. Also declining gradually. This is also the case with unauthorized and accident offenses. As you can see, they're declining, all of them, right? As you can see, 46 for unauthorized taking, and it drops to 27 by 2004, and accident offenses where in 1994 there were 24, and it dropped to 18. So this is a very good sentence in which we also mentioned the declining, the numbers declining gradually from 1994 to 2004. That's it, guys. So you see that it's pretty simple writing a table. So don't get mixed up or stressed out when you see a table in your IELTS Task 1. When students just see a lot of numbers, right, or dates, so they get mixed up and they get stressed out. So no worries. Just start with the highest number in the initial period or in the beginning, and talk about if there are any fluctuations or overall, or let's say increasing trend or declining trend. And remember to write about the end of the period, the ending year, all right? And you can categorize by the most important features, or let's say the most common type of, for example, something. You can categorize 3 by 3 like here, and then you can come up with a very well organized and well structured report on your table. So in my upcoming videos, I'm going to write about tables more. So we're going to analyze tables, some very, let's say, complex tables, of course, so you can understand and you can become accustomed to writing a very good report in tables. All right, until next time, and our next video. Enjoy your time. Stay tuned and bye-bye.